Hello, hello, and happy Tuesday to you. Welcome to today's live level up conversation. Whether you tuning in live with me here or catching me on replay, thank you so much for joining me today. Happy Tuesday. Let's dive right into today's live discussion.
Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun. Market update. Speed round. Award-winning financial pro. And now, get ready. I present to you Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Hello, friends. I'm Winnie Sun, your host and award-winning financial pro, a Forbes contributor, and a CNBC council member. We're streaming live here on over half a dozen different social media platforms, so definitely don't be shy. I'd love to see how your week's going, where you're joining me from, who you are, of course. So share your name, share your location. Don't be shy. It is plenty friendly territory here. For those of you who are brand new to the show, welcome. And this is how we like to start, and that is how the market closed today. Fortunately, today is a great day. Actually, today's the first day I go live this week. So for us, it's even more sweet. It's a triple update. The Dow closed up 145 points, Nasdaq up 111 points as well, and the S&P 500 also up 30 points. And I got to say a huge welcome to Joshua, CrossX Fighter, joining us on YouTube Live. I see Sadiq also. Sadiq, it's great to have you here on YouTube Live. And Vicky is joining us on a Facebook Live, and a woohoo to you as well, Vicky. It is great to see you all. And I see a lot of friends on all the different platforms. So thanks so much for tuning in today. Some really great news, in fact, and probably why the market's done so well today is inflation. Believe it or not, all these increases in interest rates and everything else the government has been doing in the last couple of years seems like might have a little bit of a rosy picture sooner rather than later because believe it or not, inflation in May rose at its slowest annual rate since April of 2021. We will take it. We will take it. So this is the latest data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics revealing that yes, in fact, the price of your eggs have gone down. It's almost something to celebrate, right? When your eggs have gone down in price. Okay, anyhow, consumer prices in the US, as we mentioned, rose at its slowest pace since quite a couple of years now. So this is good news. The CPI, or the Consumer Price Index, showed just a 0.1% increase in headline inflation compared to previous month and a 4% increase over the prior year. Did you hear that? A 4% increase from the prior year. That is great news. We haven't had like single digit lower inflation in a year in quite a long time. So we will certainly take it. Despite the slowdown, though, this 4% inflation still is, of course, well above the target rate of the Federal Reserve, which is about their target is 2%. Now, as you know, typically healthy inflation is around 2 to 3%, at the most 4%. So we really want to get the cost of goods increasing in lower rates, and this is going to be good for across the board, right? This means that our money will continue to keep things in budget. We'll not spend so much on things, and they're not growing so quickly. Now, the one area, though, that keeps us from being in better territory, unfortunately, is what they call the shelter index. And this is an index that will include things such as the price of rent or, like, owner's equivalent of rent. Unfortunately, this has the largest impact on the monthly increase in core inflation. Now, areas that did improve, though, that we'll definitely take is the energy index decreased by over 11%. And the food increase index, although improved a little bit, still isn't where we want to be because over the last 12 months, the food index did continue to increase at over 6%, at 6.7%. So we don't like that. But here's the good news: eggs, yes, eggs decreased by over 13% at 13.8% in May. So that is certainly good news. We hope to see more of that continue on because we're still anticipating one more interest rate hike by the Federal Reserve to help mitigate inflation. That's sort of what the consensus is. That's the expectation. Maybe they'll increase rates a second time. We're hoping not, but so far that's what we're looking at. But I want to share that good news because we've been experiencing such high levels of inflation since the pandemic began, and it looks like all those increases of interest rates are starting to pay off. And so hopefully things will get better sooner rather than later, right? I know it's Yeah, that's right. Vicky says, "Yay, eggs above the rest." Yes, eggs above the rest, and we got to take it. Yeah, and it's wonderful to see all of you here. Now, this is a story that I want to share with you. I don't know if you saw, but I thought this was interesting. Many of you know Twitter now has an official new CEO. Now, why I say official is because I'm still on the fence. My question to you, all of you are watching, is this: do you think this new CEO of Twitter, Linda Yaccarino, is she really going to make Twitter a better place? Or is she a CEO in name only? And will she be just like behind, like basically Elon Musk's shadow? Is she going to just be working on getting advertisers back? Or is she really going to make change for Twitter? Because some of you are joining me on Twitter today, and some of you might be joining me tomorrow for our tweet chat, which will be on Twitter tomorrow. Hashtag Winnie Sun if you want to follow a tweet chat. The question is, though, for us that are on Twitter and very active on Twitter, is that ever since Elon Musk took over, well, let's just say the volatility of emotions have increased significantly, and that's impacted many advertisers to jump ship, feeling that it was just too volatile. So Linda Yaccarino has been brought in, the newly appointed CEO of Twitter. She actually just shared her first memo with the company's employees and her staff, outlining her vision for what she is also calling Twitter 2.0. And she's also talking about why she joined the social media company. She's saying that she wants to make sure that Twitter is where the world receives its most accurate real-time information. Okay, she's thinking this is going to be an information hub, a global town square for communication, which, as you know, is very much aligned to what Elon Musk had told us not that long ago, before things got crazy on Twitter. And she's saying the focus will be on the freedom of speech, which again we've heard from Elon, and facilitating an unfiltered exchanges of information and open dialogue. But the question then is, and I'm sure some of you are watching feel this way as well, who is going to be the judge of whether the information being shared on Twitter is accurate or not, is true or false, is realistic, is propaganda? Like, how is this going to be done? That's what I want to know. Is like AI going to figure this out? Is Elon going to figure this out? Like, who's going to figure this out? So Linda addresses the question of why she chose to work at Twitter, um, under Elon Musk's, uh, based on his track record and what he's done so far. She's saying that obviously, given what he's done with electrical vehicles and space aviation, that this is something that she felt very aligned to. And she's saying this creates a lot of opportunities for partnerships and celebrating new voices and new ideas, and that Twitter can really be something that everybody can be proud of and change the world. So, yeah, I guess what I will say is this: we'll just have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see to see if this is all true. But I want to see. I see Vicky is saying, I live in hope about Twitter. Good. I love that. And Sadiq is saying, no, Eddie and Buddy Twitter equals Twitter 2.0. I'm guessing Eddie, do you mean, is Eddie, who is Eddie? Sadiq, do share with me that. Is Eddie like Elon? Twitter 2.0 is blue sky. I gotcha. Okay, Twitter 2.0 is blue sky, which is interesting that you mentioned that, Sadiq, because I did see this in financial news talking about like whether Jack Dorsey's next version of Twitter 2.0 having some issues with like Apple Pay and all that. So I haven't delved into that story enough, but certainly something to watch as well, just to see if that'll happen. And Carlos, it's great to see you. Thank you so much for jumping in on YouTube Live as well. We're just talking about Carlos, really about sort of the transition to the new CEO at Twitter being Linda Yaccarino, and sort of the issues that they're dealing with Twitter, which one of the biggest ones, of course, is internal documents have suggested a decline in revenue for Twitter, losing almost half, if not more than half, of their advertisers. I'm not sure the exact number, but they've lost a lot of advertisers, and whether she's going to be able to drive revenue again and bring those advertisers back to be able to run Twitter 2.0, whatever this 2.0 will be. Hopefully, it'll be better. Hopefully, it'll be a quality global environment that they're picturing where there's more positivity, negativity. Truth is good, but let's also make sure that we get rid of the trolls and the hate too. That's really dangerous stuff. I think we would agree with that, right? Especially for the next generation. We want people to feel comfortable joining. And frankly, as it stands right now, I'm not that excited about my kids joining Twitter. I don't think it's a great, healthy environment as it is now. So, Linda, challenge for you, make it better. Let's see it happen. All right. And Vicky is saying she's got her hands full with Twitter. Fingers crossed. Yes, fingers crossed indeed. Vicky is feeling very confident that a woman can do it. So I don't care, man, woman, and anybody, as long as they create a better, more positive, holistic environment that helps mankind and doesn't push us backwards, right? Okay, speaking of great humans, let's go to an article shared by my friend Sharon Epperson of cnbc. This I thought was a really fun article, and if you haven't seen it yet, you can definitely check it out on the cnbc website. The article talks about what does it take to be wealthy, and what is wealth, what is well-being is, and really like money, or like happiness, or money or assets, like what do people think about the perception of wealth. So there's a new survey that's come out, and this survey talks about Americans' perception of wealth, and it's describing how this survey results in comparison to previous years, in particular like 2017 and beyond, like the pre-pandemic times versus current views on wealth. So this was a new study that came out from Charles Schwab on the Modern Wealth Survey that they had. They talked about how people's perception of wealth has shifted. And I think that we would agree this might actually be a good thing, because wealth is now no longer solely just defined by like money and goods and financial abundance, but instead they're saying money now, there's different indicators of wealth would be. So money, of course, is not the leading measure of wealth for most adults today, believe it or not. In fact, well-being is now considered the number one indicator of wealth by those who have been surveyed. So I'm curious to see, for those of you joining me live or even on replay, what do you think when you think of wealth? What do you think is your definition of wealth and well-being, right? So well-being being one, money being another one. So the average net worth considered wealthy in the United States is $2.2 million. This is according to the survey respondents. However, this estimate is higher when respondents evaluate others, not themselves. That's what's interesting. They're saying, well, for me to be wealthy, I don't need as much, but for others, it's 2.2 million. They're saying that personal perspective on wealth will definitely vary amongst various generations, of course. Different people, different ages feel differently about wealth. But one area that feels like they are most wealthy with the least amount of money, believe it or not, isn't Gen Xers, it's not baby boomers, it's not even Gen Zers, it's actually millennials. In fact, millennials feel like they're wealthy with less money. In fact, the average net worth of millennials who consider themselves wealthy is about $530,000. Now, I think we would all agree part of that is probably because millennials are still relatively young, right? And as they get older and then they have families and they have to think about like future medical, housing, these are these, they're going to realize that 530,000 isn't quite enough. But They're saying that the whole definition of wealth is a highly individualized concept. No surprise there. No surprise, but a big word there. But that the definition of wealth should be based on your personal experiences and your personal household needs of what wealth can be. But now, what I thought was really promising is that people are saying that well being now does outweigh money and assets when it comes to defining wealth. And so, if that's one of the silver linings that has come from this pandemic, I think that is probably a good thing, right? So, well being is very, very big. Respondents are saying that from a big shift from in 2017 where everything was emphasized on money and assets, now more so on well-being. And they're saying that well, money alone doesn't guarantee happiness or fulfillment, so people nowadays are more interested in reaching a sense of well-being and reaching happiness and fulfillment versus just strictly monetary financial wealth, right? So, yeah, so that was an article that came out today. I thought it was really, really interesting. But let's go to another one. And this one, I think you're going to get a kick out, especially Carlos. I see you here. I think you're going to enjoy this one. And I think Joshua as well. So there was another another survey, in fact, that came out of LinkedIn and Duolingo that reveals that nearly half of millennial and Gen Z workers feel left out at work due to, get this, the use of workplace jargon. Yeah. It's not that, they're not included because you don't invite them out to happy hour or you're not including them into your social gossiping. No, they're feeling left out because they don't quite understand all of your workplace jargon. So let's give you some examples of this. So words such as blue sky thinking, low hanging fruit. These are words that young professionals feel very, very just overwhelmed by. In fact, 2/3 of Gen Z and millennials surveyed believe that knowing this workplace jargon can contribute to their career advancement. They're thinking you might not promote them or you might dismiss them if they don't know this sort of lingo. And so, despite being very confused and being left out, and feeling confused, of course, many of these younger workers recognize the importance that they need to have some familiarity with this workplace jargon to be able to navigate professional environments successfully. So they're saying this type of jargon. So I'm curious to see for those of you who are tuning in, do you find that interesting? Do you find that surprising? Do you feel like, why is it they're not learning this? Probably that's just kind of lingo that we've had in the workplace for so long, and maybe we've gotten used to it. Maybe it's missing on TikTok and some of the social media platform on workplace jargon. But approximately 60% of Gen Zers and millennials that were surveyed stated that this workplace jargon for them feels like a foreign language. And almost half of them admitted to making mistakes at work due to their lack of understanding of workplace jargon. Now, as a parent with a Gen Zer who's about to go to high school, I was thinking to myself, okay, this is really fascinating. I'm going to do some search on workplace jargon, and maybe I should expose my kids to this workplace jargon so that they feel like they know how to use it. So some of the terms that we often use that they don't always understand is obviously things like moving forwards or touch base, circle back, ducks in a row. These are words that you might know what they mean, but a lot of people don't know what they mean, especially our younger workers at the workplace. So they're saying that this is perceived as a career progression, new language. So for those of you who are a little older than millennials and Gen Zs, don't you feel a little smart now that you know workplace jargon? But yeah, Carlos is saying totally, and Vicky is saying agree. All right, very, very good. Now, last story that I found and I would love to share with you is this. Now, for those of you who are in Los Angeles, I know Carlos is not too far, or if you're thinking about visiting Southern California in the coming months or the next year, get this. There's something fun that's coming to Los Angeles, and that's by our friends at Netflix. But it's not what you're thinking. This probably is going to be a little different than what you were thinking. That's why I want to share this with you. It's called Netflix Bites. That's right. Netflix is branching out into the restaurant business with its first ever dining experience, which they're going to be calling Netflix Bites. Now, this is going to be a limited time pop up restaurant located here in Los Angeles, which will feature food from some of their most popular Netflix shows like Chef's Table and Nailed It. So chefs including Curtis Stone, Rodney Scott, and Nadia Hussein will come together and they're going to create a really, really fascinating, fun, unique tasting menu for guests to enjoy. And they're also going to be bringing in special drinks. So mixologists from Netflix's Drink Masters competition will also create a craft creation cocktails on the drink menu. This restaurant is going to be opening at the end of this month on June 30th for just 2 weeks. And reservations, they say, are already open. And how you get a reservation, you just have to put down a non-refundable $25 deposit, which they say will be applied towards your final bill there. So this is going to be their first this could be really fun, right? So if you've ever watched a show and you're like, I would love to try that dish, this might give you a chance to do so. Now, although Netflix TV show fans, foodie fans, are probably very excited to try one of these restaurants and their dishes and whatnot, but do know, unfortunately, your favorite Netflix personalities are not going to be on site and they will not be meeting guests. So you'll be eating their food, but you actually won't see them. So this project with Netflix is doing called Netflix Bites is looking to provide the viewer an immersive dining experience where you as a fan can indulge in the culinary world of your favorite food shows. How fun is that, right? I feel like that goes in the same category as Universal Studios and like Disneyland and Disney World. It's like one of those like fun things to do that you got to at least try once. So that's coming out from Netflix. If you do try it and you do get the chance to go there, definitely take some pictures. If you post on social, tag me so I can take a look and I can like live through that experience through your experience. All right. Thank you so much, my friends. I hope that you enjoy the show. I love putting it together for you. And I'm looking forward, of course, to seeing many of you tomorrow. If you're around tomorrow, join me on Twitter at hashtag Winnie Sun. We're going to be starting our tweet chat at 11 a.m. Pacific, which is going to be 2 p.m. Eastern, or if you're somewhere else, it'll be around that time. We'd love to see you on Twitter. We do share about 14 questions out, so you can just join in, answer the questions if you want to. You can just hang out and say hello. Just make sure you add at hashtag Winnie Sun at the end of your tweet, and so that way we'll be able to catch it and we can share it and celebrate you as well. With that, I'm just so grateful to spend this time with you, and I'll look forward to seeing you again this week. We have a lot of other shows coming this week, and we'll have more stories to share with you as always. So thank you so much for tuning in and joining Level Up. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and you can also find full episodes of Level Up with Winnie Sun on NASDAQ, Amazon Fire, Samsung, Roku, and get this, also LG now. And I believe there's a couple others, but LG in particular, I know just got an email. They have put us on their platform. So thanks so much for doing that. Additionally, be sure to check out Yes Factor with Winnie Sun, which is on Apple Podcasts and the LinkedIn Podcast Network. Thank you so much for your support, and I will see you again, hopefully see you again tomorrow. Take care now. Bye.